Hey everybody, welcome to my presentation on the firewall status display report number 5. So I'm not going to bother with PowerPoint this time because it's essentially pretty straightforward what's happened. So as I discussed the last time, I have added a couple tabs here to the status view. So the first one is the statistics on the firewall. So essentially you have the number of logged items and days of data, and I have some other statistics here. I have like an average number of entries per day that I still need to put in here. But essentially, I have a graph here that shows the firewall database entries. And so this kind of just shows from the beginning of the month or similar, 10, 11 to yesterday, essentially. So we have all this data and it shows the number of log entries for all the dropped firewall packets. So another tab for statistics. Right now, I just have this kind of basically set up. So it shows the dropped amount of traffic, and then, of course, the geolocation chart. It shows where the traffic originates from, the country of origin. So it breaks it down to the top 10. I'll try to make this more customizable, but we're kind of running out of time crunch here with the end of the semester in a few weeks. I'm kind of just trying to get the basic features fleshed out so that you can just see what it's capable of. I was hoping to get stuff like, filter by top 10 or 20 or whatever, some really fancy stuff in here, but I'm not too worried about that for now. So it just refreshed there. It refreshes there once a minute in the background. So I also added the status information here, or sorry, the settings information. So like, you have your SQL server that you can use and your port number. Also added a tab to import the geolocation table. So this isn't actually working yet, but I just have it in the UI for you now, but I'll implement that here in the next few weeks. So it's coming along. Just basically been doing the bug fixes and implementing these. So there's been some refactoring in the background anyway. So this kind of setting up these graphs, as you may imagine, probably took me a little bit of time to do this. So I did it, and it took me longer than I thought. So this took up the bulk of the time for this unit of work that I did in the past 2 weeks. So it's all set up though. I'm going to add a couple more tabs for the port numbers, types of traffic and so forth. I'm going to try to add a couple more of these just so that you can just get an idea of how this works. But essentially, you kind of just can see how this works already. So that's my plan. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm just going to basically add more of these tabs. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to do the unit tests this time, so I'm going to be implementing those in the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to start the evaluation process as well. So like I said before in my previous update, I'm going to compare it to Splunk, Alien Vault, and Graylog, and just do the setups on those. And I'm been working on that in the next couple weeks here. So, and then I'm just going to look at the firewall data some more. I continue to collect data, so I should have some pretty good insights as to what's happening with the firewall. I was going to add more rules like to the firewall to log allowed traffic and log forwarded traffic, like to NATed hosts that are inside of your network. But I looked at that, and it was just there was a lot of overhead involved, and there were a few ways around it, like using connection track helpers, for example. But it was just I felt like it's kind of going outside the scope. I do want to implement that though after the semester with this program, but for now I'm just going to keep the drop packets just to kind of keep everything straightforward. So that's basically it. I'm going to do I'll have the evaluation, I think, done in the next 3 or 4 weeks. But that's basically going to be kind of my primary focus going forward. I'm going to add a couple more tabs to this, but as you can kind of see, the user interface is more or less finished, except for some, 1 or 2 features perhaps, and, some polishing and bug fixes. But the user interface, the front end, to me is more or less done at this point. So, but if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them, and maybe add a couple more things in here. That'd be fine with me. I've got pretty good practice adding these graphs, so if you can think of graphs, anything that could possibly help someone that has a firewall and they want to know what type of traffic's coming there, that would be very helpful. So that's basically it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.